Hey guys, I'm Ben. I chose to interview my dad for this project because he's obviously been a leader to my family and I, and he began his career at a small agricultural school in New Hampshire, and ended up being a vet tech. And he only did that for a couple of years after he graduated. And then after that, he started to start up his own business selling farm equipment up and down the East Coast. And he was the most in 1999. He was the most successful dealer in the area, selling over like $1 million worth of stuff in 6 months. So with that being said, in my eyes, he's a very influential leader. So I asked him a couple of questions regarding of his success, and he said the way he approached his clients to make himself look more appealing uh, would be that he got to know them before he started to sell them or try and sell them products, and he'd offer them 24-hour assistance. So even if he wasn't getting paid for it, he would give them his cell phone number, home phone, email. So if he had any questions that he could answer, he could help them in any way. And one of the main reasons leaders I consider leaders is because they're honest. And he told me that even if the product that he was selling fit the person's needs, he would try and steer them into not another direction, but a direction if there was something that fit them better. So he would, no matter if it was his product or not his product, he would try and fit them what was right to make them happy. And another question I asked, he was a town selectman in our town, which is a very small town, like 5,000 people. Um, so it's basically the mayor kind of thing of a really small town, and you would think that not a lot goes on in a small town, but there's a lot of politics and other BS that he had to deal with. But just like any other politician, he has to, no matter what he says, someone's going to agree, disagree, or complain. So the simple answer he said was to do what you think is right, and that will benefit the majority of the people. With that being said, he had to make decisions that even he didn't think would work, but everyone would enjoy and make others happy. And it took a lot of strength to hide his feelings and implement other feelings that he didn't necessarily agree with onto other people. But he was doing what was right for the majority. And after he was done his 3 years, he told me it was a very big learning curve for him, even though he's been in the business type setting for 20 years plus. I taught him how to communicate with confidence and take pride in what he has to say. And he also told me that people liked him in the setting that they were in because he was always had a positive approach on things and would prepare himself well before every meeting. So even if with questions that usually wouldn't come up, he'd be prepared for it. And it'd be helpful because even if it's a small matter or a big matter, he would know how to answer or please someone. And then finally, one of the biggest reasons I feel my dad is an influential leader and kind of is a positive influence in my life, like every father should be. But when I was 14, I was paralyzed in a car accident, spent about half a year in a hospital getting healthy enough to go home. And when I was in the hospital for a month in Boston, I was then sent to Atlanta, Georgia, to a rehab facility that specialized in spinal cord injuries. And 6 months prior to me getting hurt, my dad decided after 25 years of being married and having two kids, he wanted to finally open up his lifelong goal of owning an ice cream stand and a corn maze and just basically everything that a small town, an agricultural town, would love. And so while people think farmers are just dumb farmers who plant plants and raise cows and all that stuff, it's kind of different when you live with someone that has to juggle all that, being up at 4:30 in the morning or even earlier, going to bed 10 past 10 at night. So while I was away, me and my mom were away 2,000 miles away, and my oldest brother, graduating high school at the time, he had a lot to deal with. So while he was flying back and forth every week to see me, and also juggling the building of the ice cream stand, the farm stand, and all that, making my house accessible for me to get back in, he never really showed that he was stressed, and that's kind of, or stressed, or not upset, but he never really showed any emotion that he was down in the dumps, or he always remained a positive attitude, which really helped push me to getting better, getting back home, and helping out the family business to what it is today, 7 years later. A pretty successful business, which I'm pretty proud of for my parents, doing through all the adversity and everything we had to go through. Um, but many people think that like a father should be a positive leader because you're a father and you need to steer it in the right track, steer your family in the right track. But I didn't realize until that happened how much of a leader and a positive influence my dad had on me. And he's taught me a lot about, since he never went to school for business, he started multiple businesses. He's had, he's managed 20 plus employees at a time. And he's always just remained a positive kind of rewarding leadership. So like if you do good, you're going to get a good reward. So that kind of made me decide why my dad was an influential leader to me. And I hope to someday accomplish or do whatever he does, being an entrepreneur, owning multiple businesses, and being successful and being basically happy with life. So hopefully someday that we'll get there. Thank you.